I watched him walk away. No tears, no hesitation, no second glance. Just like that, my son, the person I had sacrificed everything for, boarded his flight without me. And I stood there, gripping the handle of my single suitcase, feeling my world collapse in slow motion. I watched my son disappear into the crowd, his back to me, his stride confident, like he had done nothing wrong. Like he hadn't just abandoned me with one suitcase and a one-way ticket out of his life. No hesitation, no guilt. For the first few minutes, I stood frozen, gripping my bag so tightly my knuckles turned white. My mind raced. Maybe he was coming back. Maybe this was some kind of cruel joke. But deep down, I already knew. He wasn't coming back. And that was his biggest mistake. I wasn't his mother anymore. I was a burden he had left behind. The crowded terminal swallowed me whole. Suits rushing past, children laughing, lovers embracing before departures. And I was just a woman with a bag, forgotten. But what my son didn't know, what he never expected, was that this wasn't the end of my story. It was just the beginning. Call to action. Drop your city below. We want to see how far this story has reached. For years, I had been the one constant in my son's life, picking him up when he fell, standing by him through every struggle, every victory. I thought love and sacrifice were enough. Then, one day, standing at the departure gate, he turned to me with a hollow smile and said, "Your flight leaves soon, Mum." The doors closed. The crowd swallowed him. And just like that, I was stranded, forgotten in the middle of an airport like an afterthought. I should have felt broken, but instead, something inside me shifted. I wasn't just going to leave. I was going to take control. And by the time my son realized what I had done, every single flight home belonged to me. I tightened my grip around the handle of my suitcase, the cool metal grounding me as memories surged back. Memories of a time when my son needed me, when my presence was everything to him. I remembered the nights spent by his bedside, rocking him gently, whispering stories into the dim glow of the nightlight. The way his tiny fingers clung to mine, his eyes pleading, "Stay a little longer, Mom." Back then, I was his safe place. Back then, love meant everything. I dragged my floral wheeler board toward the self-check station, already rehearsing the hug I'd give Liam once we cleared security together. A neck-strain migraine had been pulsing since dawn, but mothers don't cancel on sons who promise brunch by the river. A perky gate rep tapped her keyboard, then frowned so sharply her lipstick seemed to melt. "Your record locator isn't populating," she mumbled. "I typed it twice," I insisted, sliding my passport under the scanner. She tried again, slower. My pulse started beating Morse code. The machine spat out one boarding pass, Liam Bauer, CA, PDX, first, and nothing else. "Where's mine?" I demanded, planting my cane like a gavel. Her eyes flicked left, then down. "Ma'am, your itinerary was, refunded at 07:14 this morning." Refunded. The word was a cast-iron skillet to the face. I wheeled around, spotting Liam swaggering toward the pre-check portal in suede loafers that cost more than my monthly pension. "Liam Allen Bauer," I barked, my voice echoing off the glass rafters. He flinched, glanced my way, then offered a finger wave, as if I were a barista who'd misfrothed his latte. I lurched after him, cane clacking like a metronome of doom. "Explain this, young man," I hollered, brandishing the single boarding pass like Exhibit A. "Mom, lower your voice," he hissed, consulting his phone without meeting my eyes. The system must have glitched. "I'll text Delta later." "You cancelled my seat," I accused, jabbing the paper against his blazer. "On purpose." He sighed theatrically. "Look, I upgraded you to a refund. Thought you'd prefer the cash. Honestly, you hate flying." "I hate liars more," I growled. TSA agent started eyeing us. Liam leaned close, whispering through clenched teeth. "Don't create a scene. I've got investors waiting in Portland." "A scene?" I scoffed. "Son, this is the dress rehearsal." Spike moment. The boarding lane opened and the agent scanned Liam's pass. He strode forward, then paused as if remembering something vital. He pivoted, lifted my small pink pillbox from his briefcase, and tossed it, an underhanded lob that thudded at my feet. "There, your meds," he muttered, turning away before I could answer. Humiliation boiled into rage. I knelt, scooped the rattling box, and watched my boy vanish behind frosted glass. People bustled around me. Headphoned executives, honeymooners, toddlers dragging plush otters. Yet none of them saw the woman kneeling on the polished floor, cradling a month's worth of analgesics like shattered heirlooms. I gathered my suitcase and limped toward an empty row of seats, heart hammering. A janitor paused, concern softening his weathered face. "You need help, miss?" he asked. "I need a time machine," I replied, forcing a smile. He chuckled politely, then shuffled off, leaving me alone with the airport's artificial dawn. I stared at my reflection in the terminal window, crease-lined, silver-haired, eyes shining with unspent tears. Refunded echoed inside my skull, each syllable another door slamming shut. I phoned Liam, straight to voicemail. I texted, "Why?" 3 dots pulsed, then disappeared, no reply. A nearby television blared market news. Cloudstride Logistics surges 8% pre-market. The Chiron flaunted Liam's grin from last quarter's IPO, as if the universe enjoyed twisting the knife. "That's my son," I murmured to a passing businessman. He glanced, nodded absently, and hurried on. Even bragging rights tasted bitter. I inhaled, held it, exhaled slowly. An old meditation trick I'd taught Liam when spelling tests reduced him to tears. Memories rushed back, gluing his science fair volcano, applauding at Little League, soothing his nightmares about thunderstorms. All of it led here, to a plastic chair beside Carousel 4, gripping a useless boarding pass. My phone buzzed. A text, from Liam at last. No. Bank alert, 642. 11 deposit from Delta Airlines. The refund, salt in the wound. I rose on shaky legs, marched to baggage services, and slammed the deposit alert on the counter. The clerk jumped. "I want the chain of custody," I demanded. "Show me who cancelled my PNR." He stammered. "Data privacy. Can't disclose." "I've driven a 40-foot bluebird through black ice," I declared. "You will print that log." My fury must have singed his eyebrows. He complied. 5 minutes later, I held the evidence. Cancel authorization ID, L. Bauer, betrayal confirmed. Debate ended. A strange calm settled over me, like the quiet eye of a hurricane. If Liam believed I'd slink back to Spokane feeling small, he'd mischarted the storm track. I wheeled my suitcase toward the exit, stopping only to dump the flimsy boarding pass in a trash can. The paper fluttered down like a surrendered flag. "Game on," I whispered, stepping into the cold February drizzle, already plotting the counter-strike that would turn an abandoned mother into aviation folklore. I stepped into the misty taxi lane, flipped my hood up, and dialed the only man who'd ever called me Captain, Sam Calder, retired Sky Cargo dispatcher, and my poker partner every third Friday. "Mary," he greeted, voice raspy with pipe smoke. "Thought you were cruising at 30,000. "I'm stranded," I replied, steady and cold. "And I need the names of every empty-leg charter leaving SeaTac in the next 6 hours." Sam whistled. "Someone ticked off Mama Bear." "My son downgraded me to baggage," I growled. "It's time he learns I still run the cockpit." Sam chuckled. "Give me 15 minutes, skipper." I marched to the curb and hailed a rideshare. The driver, college kid, earbuds, bubblegum hoodie, eyed me in the mirror. "Departures or arrivals?" he asked. "Neither," I answered, fastening my seatbelt. "Take me to the Aviation Business Center on 40th, and step on it." He blinked, skeptical. "Big conference?" "Big reckoning," I muttered. Halfway down the freeway, my phone pinged. Sam again. "Mary, you've got 3 deadheads, Horizon King Air in 30, Cessna Citation in 90, and a Gulfstream at 11 a.m. Slots are empty. Pricey, though." "I only need the manifest data," I stated. "And do you still know that broker software?" Sam hesitated. "Haven't touched it since FAA audit, but muscle memory's a funny thing." "Good. I'm going to overbook every seat Liam might try to crawl onto tonight." The rideshare driver's eyes widened. "You're hijacking planes?" Sweetheart, I clarified, I'm hijacking opportunities. We screeched into the business center's lot. I tossed the kid a 50. Remember, sometimes the villain writes the best chapter. Inside, the lobby smelled of jet fuel and overpriced espresso. I strode to a kiosk labeled Pilot Lounge, authorized personnel only. A receptionist blocked me. Badge, ma'am, she requested. I smiled sweetly. Check the name Mary Bauer in your corporate sponsor list. She typed, then frowned. Not seeing. Try Mary Napolitano, I corrected, flashing my maiden name driver's license. Founding donor, 1992. Her posture changed instantly. Of course, Ms. Napolitano. Can I get you a cappuccino? Double shot, and an Ethernet line. She ushered me to a glass office overlooking the private tarmac. I set my suitcase down and opened Sam's old ThinkPad, the one I'd kept after he spilled bourbon on it in 2014. Miraculously, it still booted. Within minutes, Sam texted login credentials. I navigated the charter portal, fingers flying like a stenographer on deadline. Mary, you insane, Sam typed in the chat window. I'm motivated, I typed back. Pull the credit card on file ending 8742. That card's linked to your pension trust. I'll pay the penalty later, I answered. Right now I'm buying grace. The receptionist knocked. Your cappuccino, Ms. Napolitano. Perfect timing, I thanked, sipping foam while blocking 27 seats across 3 jets. Sam pinged. All holds confirmed. You just spent 42 grand. I spent hope, I corrected. Now let's ensure Liam can't spend his way around me. Explain, Sam probed. I exhaled. He's due on the 6 p.m. shuttle home. If that fails, he'll chase upgrades, charters, anything. I'm closing every escape hatch until he faces me. Sam whistled again. Old school confrontation. No, I wrote. Old school parenting. An alert flashed. Reservation conflict. Customer L. Bauer, attempting to purchase seat on citation CJ4 1830. My heart thumped. He was already hunting. I clicked deny and reassigned the seat to Napolitano Trust Medical Transfer. Seconds later, Sam called. He's on the phone with dispatch screaming bloody murder. Let him scream, I said calmly. When he's tired, patch him through. I paced the office, adrenaline humming. Outside the window, a sleek Gulfstream taxied, sunlight glinting off silver wings. That used to be Liam's favorite sight, back when he built paper airplanes on my kitchen table. The memory pricked, but I shoved it aside. Sentiment was for later. Sam rang back, voice shaky with excitement. All right, patching now. 3, 2, 1. A crackle. Then Liam's frantic tone filled my speaker. Hello? Who hijacked my charter? I replied evenly. Your mother, the one you marooned with a suitcase. Silence, then a disbelieving laugh. Mom, this is criminal. This is maternal, I corrected. Sit, listen. He scoffed. I'll have legal on you in an hour. Excellent, I said. I'll forward them footage of you abandoning an elder. We'll see who blinks. You don't understand the damage you're doing to my schedule, he protested. And you didn't understand the damage you did to my dignity, I countered. He exhaled, defeat creeping in. What do you want? I want a face-to-face apology at gate A12. You, me, no cameras, no entourage. Make it by 4, or the Gulfstream seats stay medical hold all weekend. He grumbled. Fine. 4. I ended the call, hands trembling. Not with fear, but with something sharper. Triumph spiked with sorrow. I'd forced a meeting, but reconciliation was no guarantee. Still, I had wrested control from the boy who thought mothers were disposable carry-ons. I collapsed into the leather chair, sipped the now cold cappuccino, and whispered to my reflection in the darkened screen. Round 1 to the stewardess who never quit the flight. I reached gate A12 an hour before the deadline and claimed a vinyl seat that overlooked the long glass wall of the concourse. From here, I could see the main escalators Liam would have to ride down. I wanted the height advantage, the way a judge sits above the defendant. The waiting area bustled with spring break families and business flyers tapping at laptops. Nobody knew a trial was scheduled, but I felt the electricity snapping in my veins. I opened my tote, pulled out the slim Bluetooth speaker Sam had messengered over, and tucked it under the seat. Insurance, I told myself. At 15, 57. The escalator belt whirred louder, and there he was, creased blazer, cell phone glued to his ear, eyes scanning like a wolf hunting an exit lane. When his gaze finally snagged mine, I lifted one hand in a slow, unmistakable beckon. He strode up, pocketing the phone. "Mother," he greeted, voice tight. I answered in kind. "Son." He perched on the armrest opposite me, elbows on knees, breath pulsing. "Let's get this over with," he muttered. I clasped my hands and waited. 10 silent seconds passed. The clock behind him ticked like a metronome of shame. He cleared his throat. "I overreacted at the airport." "Try again," I said. His brow knotted. "Fine. I mishandled things." I leaned forward. "You orchestrated my abandonment and expected gratitude. That is not mishandling. That is cowardice." He flinched, then rallied. "Look, I panicked. Work is brutal, and you never adapt. The penny pinching, the lectures. I needed space." I barked a short laugh. "So you bought yourself space at 35,000 feet and left me on the carpet." He rubbed his temples. "I said I'm sorry." "Words," I dismissed, empty as an overhead compartment on a red-eye. He exhaled, frustration swirling. "What do you want? Money? Another ticket?" I shook my head. "Respect, accountability, and a public correction of the narrative you created." "Narrative?" he echoed. I retrieved my phone, tapped play, and the Bluetooth speaker under my chair clicked awake. Liam's own voicemail, recorded 2 nights earlier, filled the gate with tinny clarity. "Mom, I swear if you keep nagging, I'll dump you in a terminal and let TSA babysit." Heads turned. A toddler stopped mid-lollipop. Liam lunged for the speaker. "Turn that off," he hissed. I palmed it first. "You coined the narrative. I'm just broadcasting the author." "People are staring," he whispered, panic feathering his voice. "Good," I replied. "They should witness character in daylight." A middle-aged woman across the aisle shook her head at Liam and whispered to her husband. 2 college kids started filming. The air tasted of kerosene and judgment. A gate agent approached, concern stitched across her brow. "Is something wrong here?" Liam forced a smile. "All fine. Private matter," I corrected her. "Public matter, actually. My son left me stranded, and I'm giving him the courtesy of a gateside parole hearing." The agent's mouth parted. Sympathy flickered toward me, embarrassment toward Liam. She retreated, but not before whispering to a uniformed supervisor. "Perfect." Liam's cheeks flushed crimson. "You're humiliating me." I pronounced each word like a gavel strike. "Humiliation is a discount version of the pain you dealt. Consider it an introductory rate." He sagged into the plastic seat. "What do you want me to say?" "Start with the truth," I instructed. "Then we'll negotiate action." He swallowed hard. "I was selfish. I thought shipping you off would make my life easier. Instead, it exposed how small I'd become." "Continue," I prompted. I see now that money isn't authority," he confessed, voice rough. "And independence doesn't mean abandonment." The college kids' phones kept recording. Liam noticed and winced but pressed on. "Mum, I'm sorry. I treated you like luggage when you were the pilot of my life. Please give me a chance to earn back your trust." I regarded him, weighing sincerity against performance. His shoulders slumped, hands open, no rehearsed bravado. "Trust reboards and zones," I said quietly. "You're still at basic economy." He nodded, accepting the metaphor. "Tell me the upgrade path." I inhaled, feeling the tension loosen by a notch. "First, you will speak to every outlet harassing you and redirect praise toward the elderly travel fund I'm launching." He blinked. "The what?" "The Carry On Courage initiative," I explained. "Scholarships for seniors abandoned by family. Seed money equals the cost of the seats I commandeered." He managed a rueful half-smile. "Poetic." "Second," I continued, You will attend family therapy, weekly, no assistance, no excuses. He agreed instantly. Done. Third, I finished, you will accompany me on the commercial flight I board tonight. Middle seat, no upgrades. You will listen to every story the passenger beside us tells, even if it's about varicose veins. He chuckled, a fragile sound. Consider it penance. I extended my boarding pass. Scan this, I commanded. We're in Group E. He took the paper, hands trembling, then met my gaze. Mum, thank you for not writing me off. I softened the barest bit. I'm grounding you, Liam, not burying you. Around us, the gate resumed its normal churn, but the energy had shifted. The spectators pocketed phones, whispers turned to ordinary chatter. I powered down the speaker, slid it back into my tote, and rose. Come, I said, adjusting my scarf. We've got to middle seat to claim. He rose too, shoulders squared, and for the first time in years walked beside me instead of 3 steps ahead. As we handed the agent our passes, she smiled at me and murmured, Good for you. I nodded, eyes forward. The jet bridge yawned ahead, cool air rushing from the cabin door. Behind me, Liam exhaled a long, shaky breath, one that sounded suspiciously like relief. The trial was over, verdict delivered. Now came the sentence, served at 30,000 feet, no champagne, plenty of turbulence, and a chance, however slim, for redemption. The Boeing 737 rattled as we taxied. I planted myself in 24E, the very center of the center. Armrests narrow, legroom stingy, dignity deliberate. Liam folded himself into 24F, knees grazing the tray. On the aisle sat a silver-haired woman in a crimson tracksuit who introduced herself as Mrs. Dunlop and immediately confessed a fear of flying. I babble when I'm nervous, she warned. I listen when I'm patient, I countered. Liam shifted, already learning his first lesson. Conversation, not convenience, rules coach class. As the engines roared, Mrs. Dunlop clutched my wrist. If we drop out of the sky, promise you'll keep talking so I don't notice. I patted her hand. Mom, I've survived worse free falls than gravity offers. You'll be fine. Liam chuckled, a sound somewhere between admiration and discomfort. 30 minutes in, beverage carts rolled. I requested tomato juice. Liam attempted to order scotch. The attendant, a stout man with playful eyes, tapped his watch. No spirits until we level. I teased. Consider it sobering penance, son. Liam muttered thanks and accepted ginger ale instead. Mrs. Dunlop leaned across me. Isn't that the fellow from the news? The one who... Liam's shoulders tightened. I interjected, yes, but tonight he's simply my boy, paying back cabin karma. The attendant grinned. Good on you, Mom. He handed me an extra pack of pretzels for the court record. Liam exhaled, finally meeting my gaze. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I'm cultivating it, I corrected. Growth requires pressure. 1 hour into cruise, a metallic ding sounded. The captain's voice crackled. If Dr. Patel is on board, please ring your call button. A hush swept the cabin, the universal sign of airborne trouble. Row 22 chimed. A wiry man hurried forward. A minute later, a second announcement followed, this time directed. Passenger Liam Gallagher, please come to the forward galley. Every head turned. Phones appeared like prairie dogs. Liam paled. Why me? He whispered. Go, I urged. Face the unknown. He squeezed past knees and disappeared up the aisle. 10 tense minutes later, he returned, expression thunderstruck. What occurred? I demanded. He swallowed. The captain asked if I'd volunteer to give up my seat. I raised an eyebrow. Medical volunteer? No, he groaned. Public relations volunteer. Someone from a rival paper is on board live-tweeting our flight. Calls me airport abandonment guy. Crew worried the story distracts everyone. They offered me a voucher to move to jump seat privacy. And you? I declined, he admitted, voice small. Said I needed to stay beside my mother. A warmth flickered in my chest. Correct answer. The aisle buzzed with whispers, but the crisis passed. Reputation turbulence, not airplane. Liam settled back, breathing heavily. Mrs. Dunlop beamed at him. "Staying with family takes guts, dear." He managed, "Thank you, ma'am." Cabin lights dimmed. Hushed and half dark, Liam spoke. "Mum, when Dad died, I panicked. You were my anchor, but anchors feel heavy when you're trying to sprint. I thought if I pushed you away, I'd move faster." I responded softly, "Sprinting without a compass circles you back to disaster." He nodded. "Therapy starts Monday. I already booked sessions." "Good," I said. "Healing is not a weekend workshop." He inhaled. "May I ask something selfish?" "Ask," I allowed. "When you bought those seats, were you thinking of me at all?" I smiled thinly. "Oh, entirely. Revenge-fueled purchase. Purpose fuels the scholarship." He laughed, genuine, relieved. "Fair." Mid-flight, the attendant returned, brandishing the PA handset. "Ms. Gallagher, would you care to say a few words? Folks are curious about your initiative." Liam tensed. I accepted the handset. Standing in the narrow aisle, I addressed row upon row of intrigued faces. "Good evening, travelers. I'm Mary Gallagher. Some of you read an article portraying my abandonment as tragedy. It is not. It's testimony. Tonight, every empty seat you see was my investment in self-respect. The refund will fund carry-on courage. Free airfare for elders shoved aside. Remember, loved ones are not luggage." Applause erupted, scattered at first, then sweeping the cabin. I returned to my seat. Mrs. Dunlop dabbed tears. The attendant gave me a thumbs up. Liam whispered, awestruck, "You just turned an airplane into a town hall." I shrugged. A captive audience is still an audience. Seatbelt lights flicked on. The captain announced descent. Clouds glowed amber in the setting sun. Hope's color, I decided. As wheels lowered, Liam spoke again, voice steady. "Mum, once we land, I'll ride the shuttle with you, carry your bags, and tomorrow I'll deliver the first press statement, if that meets your approval." I inclined my head. "It's a start, Liam. Remember, respect isn't a statement, it's a series." He gripped the armrest as tires slammed onto runway. When the cabin cheered the landing, he didn't flinch. He looked at me, determination gleaming. We taxied to the gate. Overhead, bins popped, passengers shuffled. Mrs. Dunlop hugged me. "You cured my fear," she declared. "Next flight, I'll babble less." I chuckled. "Babble freely, dear. Storytelling keeps wings aloft." Liam retrieved all 3 suitcases, mine, his, and Mrs. Dunlop's, without protest. As we stepped into the jet bridge, flashbulbs sparked beyond the glass. Reporters had tracked the flight. I smirked. "Time for your middle seat encore, son." He squared his shoulders, looked to me for guidance. I offered my arm. He took it. Together we walked toward the gauntlet of microphones. Mother steady, son humbled, both braced for the next chapter of turbulence and, perhaps, safe arrival. The jet bridge doors parted like theater curtains, and a white wall of flash strobed in my face. Reporters hunched behind velvet ropes. Smartphones glittered like fireflies hunting scandal. Liam tightened his grip on my arm, mumbling, "We could use the crew exit." I hissed, "We created this turbulence, son. We exit through the front." A microphone lunged toward me. "Mrs. Gallagher, did you really purchase 3 full flights to teach your son a lesson?" I adjusted my shawl. "I invested in legroom for self-respect," I claimed, voice steady. "Turns out that cost 3 aircraft." Laughter rippled through the press pack, but a tall journalist with tabloid hunger barked, "How much of this is publicity? Are you cashing in on pity?" Before I could reply, Liam stepped forward. "Back off," he demanded, then caught himself and added, "Please." It was the first please I'd heard in years. The crowd parted as a silver-haired executive bustled toward us, gold wings on his lapel. "Gerald Cox, interim CEO of Transvaal Airlines," he announced, palm extended. "Mrs. Gallagher, the board is thrilled by your initiative. We'd like to donate 1 million reward miles to your scholarship." Applause burst, cameras zoomed. I shook his hand, then felt a folded document passed into my palm. He whispered, "A simple non-disclosure. Sign swiftly and we'll escort you to our VIP lounge far from this circus." I unfolded it. Legalese flickered like poison ivy. Confidential settlement. Parties shall refrain from public disparagement. My gaze speared Gerald. You expect me to gag myself in exchange for frequent flyer breadcrumbs? I thundered. Reporters gasped. Gerald's smile withered. He pivoted to Liam. Mr. Gallagher assured us discretion, he sputtered. Every lens pivoted to my son. Liam's cheeks drained. I thought it would protect Mom, he stammered. No more headlines. I inhaled, fury and pain mixing like jet fuel. Protection isn't silence, I retorted. It's presence. Gerald tried to regain footing. Surely we can find an amicable. I sliced the air with the NDA. Amicable starts when corporations stop muzzling pensioners. I tore the paper in half. Flashes exploded like fireworks. A young reporter thrust her phone toward me. Mary, what's your endgame? I surveyed the terminal, a mosaic of travelers who'd ever felt small. Endgame? I echoed. Today is the opening move. Carry On Courage will fund 1,000 senior trips this year, and it begins with a question. Who else is tired of being checked like baggage? Cheers erupted from onlookers. A flight attendant clapped above her head. Liam whispered, Mom, you just rejected 1,000,000 miles. I answered, 1,000,000 silences cost more. Just then, Maya, Liam's influencer girlfriend, arrived, entourage in tow, live stream already rolling. Followers, meet the airport Avenger, she chirped. Turning to me, she cooed. How about an exclusive collab? We'll brand your story, Dan Runway Revenge. I folded my arms. I don't monetize heartache. Maya pouted, then swiveled to Liam. Babe, damage control, smile. She angled the camera. Tell the fans how humbled you are. He blinked into the lens, words refusing to form. Finally, he pushed the phone away. Maya, shut the stream. Gasps. She scoffed. Engagement is everything, Liam. And integrity is more, he replied. Turn it off or walk. The live feed cut. Maya stormed off. Reporters chronicled every step. Security guided us to a quieter wing. Rows of unclaimed suitcases circled, carousel grinding. Liam and I stood amid the orbiting luggage, symbolic, I thought, of lives looping until claimed. He faced me, voice hushed. Mum, I was so busy proving I'd outgrown you that I shrank. I softened. Even bad flights can land safely if the pilot corrects course early. He nodded. Will you let me co-pilot the foundation? No credit, just sweat. I weighed his request. Only if you start at gate duty, answering letters from seniors. He accepted. I'll earn the promotion. Mrs. Dunlop tottered toward us, crimson tracksuit brighter than ever. Mary, I booked coach home tomorrow. Row 39, center seat. My hips already ache at the thought. I grinned. Not anymore. I turned to the hovering journalist pool. Ladies and gentlemen, meet our first scholarship recipient. Mrs. Dunlop gasped, hand to chest. Me? Why? Because fear of flying fades quickest at 34,000 feet in first class, I declared. I hailed Gerald, still skulking. Mr. CEO, you want goodwill? Upgrade this woman to lie flat and throw in champagne. He gulped, then barked orders into his radio. Within minutes, a new boarding pass glittered in Mrs. Dunlop's hand. Tears danced in her eyes. She kissed my cheek. I'll babble from the clouds, dear. As she left, Liam whispered, You just turned a corporate bribe into a human gift. I redirected traffic, I corrected. He exhaled. Mom, thank you for not signing that NDA. I brushed invisible lint from his jacket. Thank me by never offering another. He laughed, relieved, changed. The carousel beeped, our battered luggage clattered onto the belt. He lifted my case. Let's head home. I placed a hand on his arm. Home is where lessons continue, and Chapter 7 starts the moment we exit those automatic doors. Together we walk toward them. Flashbulbs finally dimming, crowd parting. Mother and son stepping into unpressurized night air. Destination, redemption. The grand concourse of Terminal 7 had been emptied for Transvail's Wings of Hope telethon. Polished marble, velvet ropes, a stage glaring with Klieg lights. CEOs, influencers, and camera crews milled like jeweled beetles. At center stood a 10-foot thermometer prop. Every $1 million pledge would light another crimson bar. Gerald Cox adjusted his silk tie, then spotted me and Liam entering from the service lift. "Mrs. Gallagher," he chirped, arms wide. "Tonight we erase last week's turbulence. We honor seniors. You and your son will announce our first 8 million-mile donation." I leaned on my cane. "Donation or distraction?" I queried. Liam whispered, "Mom, I've checked the numbers. 8 million miles barely cost them 300 grand. Pocket change." Gerald's smile tightened. "Please stick to the script." He handed us cue cards, each stamped VIP. Spike sparks ignited in my gut. "Scripts muzzle truth," I muttered. Backstage, Maya livestreamed from a ring light, gushing about aviation altruism. When she saw us, she squealed, "We're trending again." Then she flashed a gold badge. "I'm co-hosting. Hope that's cool." She didn't wait for an answer. She flicked her selfie lens toward Liam. "Tell followers how proud you are to stand by Mom." He shoved the phone down. "Put that away, Maya," he warned. I caught a glimpse of Gerald conferring with 2 board members, faces pale, whispering frantic. Something was off script for them too. An intern hurried over, thrusting a USB drive into my hand. "Ms. Gallagher," she breathed, "my aunt got bumped off one of the flights you bought. She's grateful. I found this." Then she vanished into the bustle. I eyed Liam. "Tech whiz." He plugged the drive into a backstage monitor. Spreadsheets erupted, columns of diverted senior discount funds, forged maintenance invoices, millions siphoned into a shell company named Skyshore LLC. At the bottom, signature, Gerald T. Cox. Liam exhaled. "This is criminal fraud." I straightened my blazer. "And we have the biggest live audience in airline history waiting." A production assistant hollered, "On in 60. Gerald hustled us toward the podium. The thermometer prop flickered, ready to glow. Maya purred into her mic. "Tonight we celebrate Transvail's generosity with special guest Mary Carry-On Gallagher." Crowd applause swelled. Cameras zoomed. Gerald grabbed his mic. "In honor of Mrs. Gallagher's inspiring story, Transvail pledges 8 million reward miles to her foundation." The first bar on the thermometer blazed red. Confetti cannons popped. I stepped forward, cue card trembling, but instead of reading it, I lifted the USB drive high. "Generosity," I declared, "starts with honesty. Let's show viewers where tonight's money really flies." Gasps rippled. Gerald barked, "Cut her mic." Too late. Liam had Bluetooth synced the monitor feed to the jumbo screens. The spreadsheets filled every display, numbers glowing like sin in neon. I narrated, "These files prove Transvail diverted senior funds into a private slush account authorized by Mr. Cox." Reporters exploded with questions. Gerald lunged for the laptop. Liam blocked him. "Touch it and security gets a copy," he warned. "Nice shell company, by the way." Board member Ms. Rojas strode on stage, voice icy. "Mr. Cox, are you admitting or denying these transfers?" Gerald stammered, sweat beading. "Fabrications, slander." In the wings, 2 uniformed federal agents appeared, tipped off by Liam 20 minutes earlier. Cameras swung to them. The taller agent announced, "Gerald Thomas Cox, you are under federal investigation for wire fraud. Please step off the stage." Crowd pandemonium erupted, investors shouting, flashbulbs exploding. Maya shrieked, "Keep rolling, this is gold." Gerald tried to bolt. Agents cuffed him. The room's roar hit a fever pitch. Ms. Rojas seized the mic. "Effective immediately, Transvail removes Mr. Cox and allocates the full Skyshore balance, $32 million, to Carry On Courage." The thermometer shot to the top, bars blazing crimson, light strobing like sunrise. I gripped the podium, stunned. 32 million. Gasps turned to cheers. Some in the audience wept. Liam faced me, voice trembling. "Mum, you just rerouted a fortune." I replied softly, "No, son. We did." Cameras zoomed closer. Confetti drifted like snow. The agents escorted Gerald past us, his eyes hollow. He muttered, "This is your fault." I met his gaze. "Accountability often feels like turbulence," I said, "but it lands the guilty exactly where they belong." The room thundered approval. Reporters pressed forward, questions blaring, yet the only sound I heard was my own heartbeat, pounding with vindication. I lifted my hand. The hall fell silent. Tonight isn't about one crooked man. It's about every passenger who's ever been told to sit down and stay quiet. Starting now, seniors fly first class on their own terms. The applause detonated, drowning the terminal. Maya's livestream hit 1 million viewers in 30 seconds. Stock tickers scrolled emergency updates. Security could barely hold the line. Liam leaned close, voice choked. "I'm proud to be your co-pilot, Mom." I nodded, eyes glistening. "Then buckle up, son. We're just reaching cruising altitude." Spotlights blazed, confetti swirled, and the thermometer burned cherry red, frozen at the zenith, as the crowd's roar rose like jet engines ready for takeoff.